Hey everyone, my name is Nathan Logan. I'm a third year business economics student at UCLA, and I'm currently enrolled in Geography 6, a class that explores each region of the world through economic, historical, political, and cultural discussion. For the past couple of weeks, I've been working on a mini documentary about Russia's geopolitical situation today, and I've chosen to focus primarily on Russia's perceived strategy for international subversion and on the alleged source of its tactics. First, I will analyze Halford Mackinder's Heartland theory and how it applies to Russia. Second, I will dive into the ideological theories of a man named Alexander Dugin and the impact of his book, The Foundations of Geopolitics, The Geopolitical Future of Russia. Lastly, I will scrutinize the question of whether Dugin truly has any influence on the actions of Putin's regime. Let's get started. Sir Halford Mackinder addressed Britain's Royal Geographical Society in 1904 and delivered his famous lecture entitled The Geographical Pivot of History. He argued that geography is the most important factor in determining a global superpower that would dominate the world and that the focus of warfare would shift from maritime navies to land-based armies. As you can see on this map, Mackinder deemed Eurasia's closed and centralized heartland to be the geographical pivot area with the best chances of establishing world control. He summarizes his heartland theory in the famous quote above. This theory triggered the emergence of geopolitics, which I will define as the role of interactions between geography and power in influencing international relationships. It also caught the attention of the Russian elite. Throughout history, Russian leadership has always asserted itself as a global champion capable of accomplishing great feats far beyond its means. The dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991 came as a personal attack to Russia's sense of identity, an utter embarrassment that Vladimir Putin would not tolerate. Putin took the political reins in 1999 and embarked on a mission to reassert Russian dominance on a global scale, challenging other international powerhouses including Western Europe, China, and the United States. Let me welcome Alexander Dugin onto the stage. He classifies himself as a political analyst, strategist, philosopher, sociologist, and self-taught polyglot speaking 10 languages. He is known for his anti-globalist views, which he calls realism, his support for Donald Trump, and his geopolitical book that has been used as a textbook in the Russian military, police, and foreign policy elites. Dugin infused life into Mackinder's Heartland theory with a detailed plan for Russian implementation. Dugin published his Foundations of Geopolitics only 6 years following the collapse of the Soviet Union. At this time, Russia found itself mired in economic failure, restricted by international sanctions, and humiliated by military defeats. Dugin asserts a primordial dualistic conflict between Atlantica, seafaring civilizations such as the United States and Britain, and Eurasia, land-based civilizations such as Russia. The purpose of the book is to establish a foundation of Russian geopolitical strategy, the goal being to reassert Russia as a global champion. Sound familiar? It should, because the vision aligns perfectly with Putin's proclamation for Russian world dominance. Dugin states that the Eurasian Empire will be constructed on the fundamental principle of the common enemy, the rejection of Atlanticism, strategic control of the USA, and the refusal to allow liberal values to dominate us, he says. He emphasizes the use of a sophisticated system of subversion, destabilization, and disinformation, implying that military operations will play a very small role. Dugin writes about a quest for the Finlandization of all of Europe, a process characterized by one powerful nation making a smaller neighboring nation abide by its foreign policy rules, while allowing it to preserve its own political sovereignty. He outlined a detailed plan that continues to draw frightening parallels to many recent political developments. First, the United Kingdom should be cut off from Europe. Second, Ukraine should be annexed by Russia. And third, Russia should use its special services within the borders of the United States to fuel instability and separatism. In an interview with BBC Newsnight, Dugin makes two significant claims. First, he guarantees that Russia is willing to fight until the end in order to show the world that the United States is no longer the world's unique master. Russia's involvement in Syria and Ukraine is all about proving that the United States is not the global boss. Second, Dugin addresses what has come to be known today as fake news. He rejects the term and explains that total fact is dependent on interpretation and belief. If society believes it, then it must be true. Many sources close to Putin deny Dugin's involvement in any political actions taken by the Russian government. The question regarding Dugin's influence, however, remains. Dugin has created a strong media presence in accepting interviews with numerous American, British, and Russian news outlets. He has succeeded in making his rhetoric known to the world, and the plan he outlined in his Foundations of Geopolitics back in 1997 is ominously coming to fruition. Thanks for watching.